Hello, YouTube family. Welcome to The Truth Is with Jael. This is my review and critique of The Chosen Season 2, Episode 6. It came on last night. I had to watch it twice. Um, I'm always overwhelmed by what Dallas Jenkins and his team does. Sometimes I need to sleep on it and think about it and pray about it before I post. So here we go. It started off with a flashback, if you will, of when David was young and he was running away from Saul when Saul was trying to kill him in the Old Testament. And he goes to Ahimelech to get some bread and food. He's hungry. And of course, all that he has is the holy bread that is for the priests for a certain time of the year and only for them. And, it's not supposed to be eaten by, regular folk. However, David and his little crew were starving. Ahimelech had mercy on him and gave him the bread anyway. And of course, this ties into the end of the episode as well, but we'll get to that later. It would have been cool, though, to see Ahimelech give David Goliath's sword. That did not happen. I'm not sure why they didn't include that, but that just would have been a really cool thing to see. Now, we move on to Mary's story. Matthew and Simon Peter are looking for her. She has run away from episode 5. She has relapsed. And so we see her in like this bar at this table with all of these men. Let me back up. So Matthew and Simon, they've just awakened. And Matthew and Simon are having this conversation. Matthew says, well, I went to the synagogue first to see if anyone has seen her. And Simon says, well, how did you describe her? And it's in this scene where we figure out how big of a crush Matthew has on Mary and how he's describing her. And Simon picks up on this, and there's this little grin, this little big brother smile that comes over his face that lets us know, okay, Simon and Matthew are going to be okay, because up to this point, they don't really get along. Simon does not like Matthew. He thinks he's a waste of time. He thinks he's a hazard, that he has to be watched and cared for like a toddler, basically. But now he sees he's just a guy. He's a regular guy, just like him, with feelings. And so we see some softening of Simon, which we haven't seen before, which was nice to see. So fast forward, Mary, the mother of Jesus, is talking to Rhema, and they are having a conversation about the Mary who has left. And of course, Rhema is very upset. And Mary, the mother of Jesus, is trying to reassure that our hope and trust is in God, not people with authority, just God. She also talks about the fact that there are many times that she and Jesus go hungry because Jesus no longer works as a carpenter. Now he's about his Father's business, and he's doing what he was created to do on this earth. And so it's just a little lighthearted talk between these two women. Okay, so Mary's drinking, she's gambling, she's surrounded by men. I don't think there's any other women in this place, and she's winning, and the guys are getting ticked off. Suddenly, you can see the look on her face, just like in episode 5, where she realizes something. She gets that moment of dread where she's surrounded by men and she's unsafe. And so she leaves. She even leaves that whole bag of money on the table and leaves in fear. But we also see the flashback of her father telling her to pray and say the words when she's afraid. So Matthew and Simon are looking for her, and as they're strategizing and trying to decide who gets to go where, lo and behold, Mary's there in the alley, and she's like, boys? She thinks she's hallucinating. She's, dreaming because she's drunk. And of course, they really are there. They go and they talk to her. They comfort her. She doesn't want to go back. She's ashamed. She feels like she's failed God. She has faith in God. She says, she admits that, but that she does not have faith in herself. Matthew is so sweet. He's just like a loving husband in this scene because we all know Matthew has an aversion to like dirt and, excuse me, poop and all that kind of stuff. So Mary starts vomiting because she's drunk. He takes his special little scarf handkerchief and, he's holding her hair like we did for our girls back in the day in college when they were drunk or at the club or whatever. Some of y'all know what I'm talking about. Don't act like you don't. Um, and he takes his own little white, pure white cloth and is cleaning her vomit. At that point, we know Matthew really is human because he does not like anything like that. And it also tells us how much he cares for this girl. So they finally talk her into going back to the tent. Oh my gosh, it's a wonderful scene where she is greeted by the women. Rama's crying. Mary, the mother of Jesus, immediately covers her head the way she's supposed to be in the culture at this time. Mary, the mother of Jesus, takes her to Jesus' tent. She doesn't want to look at him. She's ashamed. And Jesus says, you know what? I forgive you. The Father just wants your heart. I just want your heart. And it's the same with us. He also asked a really good question. Did you think that you would never sin or struggle again? That's for you and me too. We're going to struggle because we're sinners. He keeps telling her, look up, look up. That's code for us too. We need to look up. When things are going bad, we need to look up to the Father and pray to him. He said, I forgive you. They embraced. I think almost everybody cried when they embraced because it was just so beautiful. It was like a father to a daughter, almost like a prodigal child situation. It was just so touching. It was just long enough. It was just sweet enough. There was nothing weird about it, nothing sexual. It was just perfect. It was a perfect scene. Now, Jesus is informed that they are running out of food. So he tells, I believe it's Philip, tell everybody we're going to leave in the morning. We're going to go find some food. And they do. So they get up in the morning. They walk to a nearby synagogue. And Jesus sees a man with a withered hand. Now, I believe this story is in Mark 3 and Luke 6. Don't quote me on that, but I think that's right. So he sees the man with the withered hand. And all the while Jesus is walking in, the priests are going through all their laws and rituals and all that junk. And Jesus is just ignoring that. He's like, what's your name? And the man says, Elam. And at that point, the guy's like, hey, what are you doing? Stop that. Like when we're in the middle of a holy moment, like, what are you doing? And so, of course, he heals the man. And the Pharisees, the priests, all upset. They're fussing. They're saying this is unlawful. How dare you do this on the Sabbath? They're protesting. But Jesus, in his calm, eloquent way, wouldn't you help your animal if it fell into a ditch on the Sabbath? Would you just leave it there? No, of course not. You'd help it. Just like I'm helping this man with the withered hand. So, as Jesus and the disciples leave, the one priest yells out, if he was supposed to be healed, then God would have done it himself. Well, God did do it through Jesus. I thought that was pretty funny. So they're walking through the field. They stop. Simon Peter's like, do you see what just happened? And he's recapping what happened, and he's pulling wheat out of the field and he's starting to eat it. And you can hear a pin drop because it's the Sabbath and he's not supposed to be eating. But he wasn't thinking, and so he starts spitting it out, and he tells Jesus, oh my gosh, I'm sorry. But Jesus is like, it's cool, which is our reference back to the beginning scene where David was given holy bread that he should not have had and should not be eating, but he needed it. And it was okay in this instance for him to have it. And Jesus gave his disciples the permission to eat. And as soon as he did, they were like little vultures. They were just picking the wheat as fast as they could because they were basically starving. So I liked how they tied those two scenes together. And you can look that up in Mark 2 and Matthew 12, I believe. This was an interesting episode. It was pretty short for me. A lot of moving parts, but still good. Still good. I'm just looking through my notes to see if there's anything else that I wanted to say. I'm really looking forward to the Sermon on the Mount. I have a feeling that that's going to be my favorite episode. Oh, okay. So in the middle of the episode, several different groups of disciples say in one way or another that at this point on their journey with Jesus, they're confused. They really don't understand what's going on. They don't understand why he's doing what he's doing, but they're just following. Again, that's a good word for us. We just need to follow and trust him. Of course, we're not going to understand what he's doing. He's God. If we could understand him, then, we'd be on his level, but we are not. So that was my favorite thing about the whole episode, is that they kept on just dropping little nuggets of wisdom that was applicable to us today. And as usual, it's a TV show. It's not 100% scripturally accurate. For example, the timelines are off. The scene with the man with the withered hand that was healed they put it out of order. The scene with the wheat field versus the withered man, they're out of order as far as historical timelines, but that's neither here nor there. But I know some of you are picky and you're going to pick up on that, as well as it was his right hand instead of his left hand. It's just all creative license. The bottom line is people are watching this show. They're learning about Jesus. They're picking up their Bibles. People are getting saved because of The Chosen, and we love it. So thank you, Dallas Jenkins, again for another awesome episode. Now, please don't take so long with the next one. You just about gave me a heart attack, okay? I was on the edge of my seat waiting for this episode. And, it's really good, y'all. Spread the word. Give to Dallas and his team if you can. Become a patron, a partner. Get on his text message. It's really cool to get videos from him. He's just a really down-to-earth guy. We need to pray for him. We need to pray for his team. We need to pray for this production, for this show to continue, and that it reaches the far ends of the earth, and that it is used mightily by our Lord to just draw people to him. We just want people to be saved. All right? God bless y'all. And as always, God's truth matters. Be blessed. Bye, y'all.